Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Screen. I am your humble DM, Tim, and today, something else that I discovered along with the potion missability table, the scroll mishap table, also on page 140 of chapter 7 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. This is another interesting rule that I didn't know actually existed, but I think is actually one that people should. I can definitely recommend people should really use in their games. The idea is that when someone tries to read magic from a scroll, they may not read it correctly, whether or not they don't have the arcane means to understand the way that magic works. Potentially, the scroll has been damaged in some way, and so they don't make out the words, or if you're a fan of the Evil Dead movies, potentially getting the words wrong because you can't remember the actual phrasing, so you just go, okay then, that's it. And so there is a chart for what happens if you screw up reading a spell from a scroll, and I'll read it out for you here. A creature who tries and fails to cast a spell from a spell scroll makes a DC 10 intelligence saving throw. If the saving throw fails, roll on the scroll mishap table. And this is just it's only a D6. It's not as good as the potion missability table with the D100, but the results are no less humorous in their results. On a 1, a surge of magical energy deals the caster 1d6 force damage per level of the spell. So, not too bad if you're doing a level 1 spell, but potentially a lot more dangerous doing a higher level one. 2, the spell affects the caster or an ally determined randomly instead of the intended target. Or it affects a random target nearby if the caster was the intended target. 3, the spell affects a random location within the spell's range. So basically, it's a missed target. So you don't necessarily hit what you're trying to hit, but you might hit, a door or something nearby. 4, the spell effect is contrary to its normal one, but neither harmful nor beneficial. For instance, a fireball might produce an area of harmless cold. So just 5, the caster suffers minor but bizarre effect related to the spell. Such effect lasts only as long as the original spell's duration, or 1d10 minutes for the spell to take effect instantaneously. For example, a fireball might cause smoke to billow from the caster's ears for 1d10 minutes. And 6, the spell activates. This is my favorite, by the way. The spell activates 1d12 hours. The spell activates after 1d12 hours. If the caster was the intended target, the spell takes effect normally. If the caster was not the intended target, the spell goes off in the general direction of the intended target up to the spell's maximum range if the target has moved away. So, for example, if you were activating let's just go back to fireball. You're activating a fireball spell. You whiff the attempt and you fail the intelligence check. You roll the random table. You don't tell your players what's going on, and then 6 hours later they might be meeting with someone really important, and suddenly, boo! you blow up a plot critical NPC. So. Again, a rule that's not going to come into play all that much, at least in my experience when I've been playing games, because potion missability, the instances where players actually were down 2 potions within the space of a certain amount of time is quite rare. But it's one of those rules that, because it comes up so rarely, it's definitely one that you should check out. So yeah, scroll mishaps. You can find that on page 140 of the Dungeon Master Guide. I think another interesting way you could almost utilize this table is almost like a cantrip variant for wild mages, because wild magic only affects spells of level 1 or or higher. But because the table on this one is so limited, say for example they use their Tides of Chaos, and you're able to trigger their Wild Magic Surge. Rather than waiting for them to cast a higher level spell, you could trigger it on a low level one and utilize the scroll mishap table for it. So yeah, the scroll mishap table, another one of those rare rules that I didn't know existed until very, very recently. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. I have been your humble DM, Tim, and be sure to come back for more interesting tidbits beyond the screen. Bye!